I had to lose my sight to find my vision. And my vision brought me to the STL Bucket List Show. Check the STL Bucket List out. They have the latest people coming on their platform talking about the things they love to do in the STL. Langford Cunningham, ABC 30, blindcitythepodcast.com.
What's up, St. Louis? Thank you for tuning in to another week of the STL Bucket List Show. I'm your host, Marissa Farrell.
And I am your other host, Luke Farrell, and we're here with a very special episode right here at Half Coast Studios. Shout out my guy Matt in the back on the ones and twos, cutting up a perfect episode for Google, Spotify, Apple, YouTube, all the platforms. And then, of course, our friends over at the Regional Arts Commission of St. Louis. They're the largest public funder of arts and art programs in our city. And if you guys didn't know, St. Louis is an arts town. More people travel to the city for arts organizations than they do for sports. And we're rocking some t-shirts today. I'm going to drop these after the episode. You guys can pick these up. All the proceeds go directly to artists in St. Louis. So we got a special episode. Somebody that, been around for a while, been in the podcast game, a huge advocate for St. Louis. We got my guy, Langford Cunningham. Thank you for coming into the show today, man.
Oh, man, thank you. And your beautiful wife for letting me pull up to the show, man.
Hey, absolutely.
Glad to have you.
We had to make it happen. So Langford called and he said, yo, I've been listening to your show. He also records a podcast. He's like, we got to make it happen. We got to collab. You said it was big for the city.
Yeah, Blind City, the podcast, and St. Louis STL Bucket List, man. This is a classic. This is going to be a classic episode.
Absolutely. So Langford, we really want to get into, we like to hear about our guest's story. So we want to take it all the way back to when you were growing up. Tell us where you're from. Tell us a little bit about your childhood, and then kind of just go from there.
Well, man, I grew up in North St. Louis. I was born came out of DePaul Hospital back then, right there off Kings Highway. Mm-hmm. And my people owned a funeral home called Cunningham Funeral Home. Back then it was Cunningham and Moore Funeral Home. It was the first black funeral home in St. Louis. And I was raised over there, man, with my mother and father, as long as they could stay together. And then they divorced. And then we moved to Richmond Heights in the Maplewood area. Mm-hmm. And I stayed over there with my father. And then when my father and mother divorced, she went back to Venice, Illinois. My mother's from Venice, Illinois. And so I was going back and forth to Venice to St. Louis pretty much my whole youthful life until I became a teenager. But it was a great experience, man, growing up on the north side of St. Louis. And back then, during that time with St. Louis, it was more family cultured back during that time, around the 70s. Early 80s. It was a lot of families in the community, and you had the word neighbor in the hood back then. Now you just got hood. Mm-hmm.
And that's special. So, like, growing up in St. Louis, you're a local. So you're a teenager. Tell us about, what you were doing as a teenager, what led you into kind of the career that you're doing now.
And everything. Let me say this. I had every opportunity. I had, parents that sent me to Catholic school. Back then, that was St. Francis Xavier. Is now closed, but it was on the SLU campus.
Yep.
And then there, I graduated and went to Rosary High School, which is now Trinity, but Trinity has closed. But I went to Rosary, and I think I just got fed up with Catholic schools at that time, and I flunked out of Rosary. I just got tired of the structure and the religion they were putting on me, and I kind of rebelled, and then I went there. And then I went back to Illinois, where my mother's from, and I went to Venice High School. And that was the best move I made, man, because when you were a child and your parents had money and they put you around money, and then you go to a school where kids didn't have a lot of money, it just made you, don't take advantage of your life. Sometimes things are a blessing. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people don't have the same advantages you had. So that really woke me up once I went back to Venice, and I took advantage of my opportunity and really got my education, and I excelled and got through there. And then through the other years, I went to broadcast school in Chicago, in Aurora, Illinois. Mm-hmm. I got my broadcast certificate. I did radio for 2 years in Decatur, Illinois in my early 20s. I got tired of that because I didn't like the way how radio was structured. If the program director moved out of town to another radio station, you was out of a job.
Right.
So I got out of that, and then I got hired at State Hospital over there on 5400 Arsenal on the south side. That was another turning point God has showed me through life. Again, dealing with the less fortunate, people who had mental disabilities. It kind of woke me up again like, man, you got to take advantage of these opportunities. A lot of people don't have these same opportunities you have. And I learned to work with people with bipolar, schizophrenia. And that was a turnaround for me, man, to give back and help people that really had serious issues. And I was there for about 5-6 years. And then after that, I had miscellaneous jobs. I was still trying to find myself in the streets, going to the clubs, hanging out at night, just really wilding, man. And basically got my car shot up.
Wow.
I was staying on Shreve and Betsy, one of the most notorious neighborhoods in St. Louis in the mid '90s. And I was like, man, I'm tired of this life. I'm just tired. I need to get myself together. And in my early 30s, from there I went back to school. I went to Sanford Brown at that time and got a 2-year degree in criminal justice. And then I got hired at the penitentiary over in East St. Louis. And I was a counselor. I was a drug counselor, and I worked with inmates that were heavily on cocaine and heroin, and I would teach them in prison. And then I noticed something. I was like, well, wait a minute. They have all these life skills groups with dealing with older men in prison. And at that time, I had a friend work for St. Louis County at juvenile detention. And I was telling him about it, like, man, they got these groups over here. Do they have groups for the kids in juvenile detention? He said, nah, man, they just locking these kids up. They're not teaching them nothing. And I thought that was kind of weird. But you got life skills for the grown men doing 20 years, 12, you didn't have no groups for them. You're just locking them up.
Right.
So I was like, are they doing any hiring over there? And he was like, yeah. So I went down there, filled out the application, and they hired me part-time while I was still working full-time at the prison. And then eventually they hired me full-time over in St. Louis County, and I brought those programs over there to juvenile detention, and I had some supervisors and people that worked with me to help me get that filtered in the detention system, and they still running on programs today.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, to help these kids. Yeah, to teach them life skills.
So what were some of the programs that you implemented? And like how challenging was that to even get that push through the door?
It was hard at first, being a newcomer, coming out the prison, you got to adjust to the system in there, and then you had to get with the right supervisors and right people in the corporate matter to implement these and to show them why it was needed. Because when I got there, I was just like, you're just locking these kids up.
Right.
That's not teaching them nothing. They leaving out of here just as mad as they come in. So, I had to push for it. I had some help. And like I said, I had the right supervisors that worked with me that was for it, and they were there for numerous years before I was. And they helped get it implemented. It took about a year or two. And then once we got the programs, and we dealt with, dealing with choices, teaching kids how to make better choices, how to surround yourself with the right peers, teaching them gang rehab, how to get out of gangs constructively, how to avoid gangs, things of that nature. And we went hard in juvenile detention. We saved a lot of kids, and a lot of kids we didn't save. Yeah. But I went into it thinking I can save every child.
Sure.
Some people tell me, if you save one, you did a good job. But no, I can't think like that.
Right.
When you're working in the community and you're trying to save people, you can't think about one. You got to think I can do it all. That's just the attitude I had. And I lost a lot of kids who really had the opportunity to turn their lives around, but they have done so much in their life they couldn't turn it around because, the murders out here in the streets, the gun laws that they passed, these kids are quicker to get guns now at 18 years old. Yeah. So, and I saw this coming back 8, 9, 10 years ago. Even matter of fact, 2008, I did a documentary called Hood Chronicles, and you can Google this on your computer and on your phones. Hood Chronicles STL, where I talked about we had a gang problem in St. Louis. And the chief of police at that time didn't really believe me when I brought it to him. He's like, we got it under control, Mr. Cunningham. I said, no, not really. Well, look at us now.
So what changes? So like you were with these juvenile kids in the early 2000s, or was that in the 90s?
No, early 2000s.
Early 2000s. Yeah, so, we're flash forward 20 years now, like what type of changes have you seen? What type of changes are you like looking for in the city? And like, tell us about, what you were doing then and then like what you're seeing now, because you're not doing it anymore, you know?
No, I'm doing it in another way because, I lost my eyesight along this journey. So let me speed it up. So yeah, I was at juvenile detention, St. Louis County for about 16 years.
Wow.
Giving my service to the community, working with these kids. That was my passion. Matter of fact, that was the really first, job that I really got that I really enjoyed.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed the prison too, but when you can work with younger minds.
Yeah, because they're more.
There you go. Talk to me. You're a teacher.
Yeah,
There we go.
right?
Talk to me.
They're more impressionable. You almost feel more hopeful at that point. Like I can get ahead of something rather than it being too late, right? Than saying it's too late and, their mind's made up and this is how they act and this is what they know about the world. Like they're more impressionable that you can at least try and get in front of some of the issues that you're seeing and kind of, mold them to go into a more positive direction.
Verified. Exactly. And it was nothing like it. It was just me going into juvenile detention, hearing them steel doors close. I just got excited because I knew I had an opportunity to change some minds that have really been corrupted or they went through dysfunction. Mm-hmm. But I had an opportunity to give them some hope. Yeah. And that's the way I looked at it every day going into my job. Right. Now, as far as working with my peers, that was the hardest part because we had some people that worked in the juvenile detention system didn't believe in the groups. They just wanted, shut up, go to your cell. Mm-hmm. Shut up, go to your cell. But that's not establishing a therapeutic environment. Mm-hmm. And you got to create a partnership with these kids so they can open up to you and talk to you. But if I just tell you, shut up, go to your cell, see, that creates hate. That creates what they getting out in the streets.
Yeah, it's detrimental to
There
them.
you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's inspiring. And Langford, like, you chose that passion and did it for 16 years. I mean, there's a lot of kids, and I'm sure you have a lot of stories of kids that are now adults, that you probably still talk to, and like these guys that you met. I mean, can you like relate on any like specific story of?
Man, it's just like when I promote the podcast on social media and things of that nature, they all reach out to me. They'll say, Mr. C and my assistant will let me know, hey, such and such reached out to you. Do you remember? And be honest with you, some of them I do remember. Yeah. Some I don't.
That's
but
how
when
it
they
goes.
say Mr. C, they know me. Yeah. And I give them the love back like, yeah, thank you.
Right. That's awesome. And that's the real impact. And even with Marissa being a teacher, she's just starting out, but like there will be a time 16 years from now when you have all those connections of all these kids that you've helped along the way.
No doubt, man. No doubt. Like I say, I'm a fan of Marissa's. I listened to the show. I knew she was a teacher. Matter of fact, she made a statement on one show. She might remember this. She was like, I got to do more. We got to do more community-based shows. I got to do a little more. And I'm like saying to myself, you're in the school district. You're teaching our young minds and you're doing the podcast. Yeah. But here she's saying she still has to find a way to do more. Yeah. And that's why I had to reach out to you.
Absolutely.
Both of you, So because with Blind City, the podcast, well, let me get right back. So I enjoyed 16, 17 years there. I still had a nightlife. I was single, still in the streets, kicking it. I was like living two lives. I'm telling the kids, stay out the streets, but I'm still going out to the strip clubs and everything like that and drinking. And I woke up one morning and my eyes were bloodshot red. And I didn't know. I was like, wait a minute. Maybe I'm drinking too much alcohol. Mm-hmm. And I was a beer drinker. I wasn't no vodka or nothing like that. I just, I was a beer drinker, and I'm like, my eyes bloodshot red and I go to work. And then the kids start noticing, Mr. C, your eyes are blood. You smoke weed. I said, no, I don't. I don't smoke at all. So when the kids start taking notice, that made me go to one of the strip malls, to one of the eye centers in the strip malls in the neighborhoods. And I went there and she took me to the back and they looked into my eyes with the machine and the doctor scooped the chair back. Now, let me remind you, anytime the doctor scoots the chair back, you better brace yourself. He said, Mr. Cunningham, do you have, no, first he said, Mr. Cunningham, anybody in your family have glaucoma? Mm-hmm. I said, yeah, my father did. He said, what happened? I said, he went blind in his 60s. He said, He said, well, your eye pressure, normal eye pressure is 12 and 15. Your eye pressure is 45 in both eyes. Now, 45 is like damn near having a stroke in your body. Mm-hmm. That's high for eyes. Mm-hmm. So they had to rush me to a hospital instantly. And
were you in pain?
No pain. My eyes were just
the look.
Just the look. And I went through 31 surgeries. My life flipped upside down.
Yeah.
And let me say this to people with cancer, breast cancer, dialysis, anybody who has went through a trauma experience, losing a limb. Rest in peace to my man Lando Watson. I still keep your name alive. You go through a phase where I don't believe this happening to me. I was just seeing yesterday. I was just driving. I was just looking at women. I was just looking at people. And now I can't see nothing. And the worst thing about it, it happened gradually. So I actually saw me losing my eyesight.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Picture that.
Right.
You seeing it first.
I can't
Right.
imagine.
And it
then
just
it's
gets
shrinking.
worse and worse and worse and worse.
Exactly.
Wow.
And
Wow.
and when it went away, I remember the last night I could see, and it was going away, but I remember looking at the TV and it was blurry and the Cardinals were playing. They had on all the blue uniforms. They were playing the Cubs.
Yeah.
And saying to myself, damn, this is the last time I see the Cardinals play. And next days, it went out. My retina broke in half because I had so many surgeries on my eye. I couldn't. Yeah. It weakens the eye. And let me say this to people, and be conscious of this. Be careful how many surgeries you have on your body with these doctors. Because when you go through it at first, you go with the flow because you think it's going to help me. But sometimes we have to be experienced in what doctors we have working on us. And sometimes we don't find out until emergency happens. Mm-hmm. So get familiar with a doctor in your family that has worked on people in your family that are heavily trusted. Because when you start getting people you don't know working on you, anything go. Yeah. But anyway, so the retina broke, everything just gave in. And I'll never forget it when I came back home and I stayed in West County. I couldn't see those cars no more. And I was a car man, I had to get the rims, the paint, I was in the cars, Jay. I was in the cars, Marissa. I don't know if you in the cars like that,
No,
Marissa.
not really.
Okay, Marissa, not really. But I was, Marissa, yeah. I was in the cars and had a nice little condo, and I fixed that up. But, things that you could normally see, you can't see again. So now I'm just wiping my cars, touching my cars with my hand. And that's freaking me out.
Yeah.
Right.
Then I'm going into my place. And it's fine when you got people around you. Everybody, it'll be all right. We got to deal with it. But when everybody leave you, and now I'm in the house by myself, where I used to could see, and now I can't see nothing. That's when the battle starts between God and the devil. That's where your faith really kicks in. And I tell people, and please listen to this. Please listen to this. While you are healthy, work on your faith. Do not wait until the last minute something happens to you or you go through a trauma experience. You're searching for it. You don't want to go out like that. Start preparing. Hopefully you don't have to deal with it, but we know how life goes. We can tell people how much money we got in the bank, but we can't tell people how much time we got left on earth. Let me say that again. We can tell people how much money we got in the bank, but you can't tell people how much time you got left on this earth.
Facts. So how that? First of all, that was just a traumatic experience, and thank you for sharing that with us. And so yeah. I knew I'd heard, we read about it and stuff like that, but you don't really know until you actually listen to it in person. But so this happened. How old were you when that last night when you were watching the Cardinals
game?
Your
dad was in the 60s.
Your dad was
in the 60s. Yeah. So.
Yeah, my dad was in his 60s, and I saw him lose his sight. But you know how when you see your parents going through something, you don't think it's gonna happen to you,
right?
And then I wasn't intelligent enough to realize, hey, I need to get checked out. Right. It runs in my family. And let me say this: black men, and I have to say black men because these statistics have been shown. We don't go to the doctor. Go to the doctor. Get your body checked out once a year. All men go to the doctor. But I'm going to stress black men because when I went to the doctor, they tell me, Mr. Cunningham, black men don't go to the doctor. Go to the doctor, get your body checked out. Don't worry about what they find. If they can catch it early, it gives you another chance at life. You don't want them to catch it late. So suicide thoughts start coming in my mind. And like I say, you got God on one shoulder telling me, what you gonna do? Listen to me. Follow me. Everything will be all right. Then I got the devil on the other side. No, it ain't gonna be all right. You can't see nobody. What woman wants a blind man? You're handicapped now. You can't do what you normally do. You can't talk to the kids no more. You're blind. You're deaf, dumb, and blind. What are you gonna do? Now I'm dealing with that. But I'm listening to God too, because God has always been part of my family. It was always instilled in me from my grandmama. May she rest in peace. But at that certain time, God was trying to reach me and I wasn't listening because I got so frustrated with the devil was telling me. And I had pride. I was a man and I'm not looking for nobody to help me. I could do it myself. So I listened to the devil and I tried hanging myself. But guess what? It didn't work. And I'm not going to go in details how I tried to do it because we got people who might be having suicide thoughts listening to the show. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people out here struggling. You don't know what they're going through. But I'm not going to tell you what happened and how I tried to do it. I'm just going to tell you I was unsuccessful. Mm-hmm. Then once I couldn't do that right, I went and grabbed a weapon and put it in my mouth. And I made sure it was ammunition in it before I put it in my mouth. And I pulled the trigger 3 times. Nothing came out. I threw it against the wall and it discharged. Bang! I'm like, what the hell? I can't even kill myself right. What's going on? Now I'm frustrated. I'm cursing God through my whole place. Now, I'm the only one in the house. I'm cursing, crying, cursing. So I said, I know what I do. I'll call a friend from the hood I know who deals with narcotics. He'll bring me some pills out, and I just do it that way. Made the phone call, waited. I made a voice dial, told him bring it out. He's like, okay, you sure about this? I said, yeah, I'm sure. I don't want to live no more, bro. I can't see. My life over with. I waited about an hour. I said, it shouldn't take him this long to get out here. He live in U City. So I called the number back. Mm-hmm. A man answered the phone. I said, who is this? He said, who is this? He said, I'm a state trooper. I said, state trooper? He said, yeah, we got, you waiting on somebody? We got him pulled over on the highway. I said, who you got pulled over on the highway? He said, the same person you waiting for. Mm. I got quiet. Wow. I said, what you have him in custody for? He had drug paraphernalia in the car. I dropped the phone. Now you tell me what's going on. I dropped the phone. Mm-hmm. And I fell to the floor and gave my life up to God. I gave my life. It just wasn't meant to be. It just wasn't meant to be. So now I can look the devil in the eye and tell him he a lie. God gave me another opportunity, even when I didn't listen to him the first time. But he showed me at that moment that I'm alive and I have something better for you. So after that moment, I went and got help with some therapists to get me through this. And out of this help, Blind City, the podcast, was created. Not blind for as blind people that are visually impaired, mm-hmm. but people in these communities that have sight, but they have no vision. Mm-hmm. That's what Blind City Podcast is about, because I had to lose my sight to find my vision.
That's right.
To help people with sight with no damn vision.
That's right.
And we haven't looked back since, man. It's been a great ride. I did the podcast. I started it off just for me to stay alive and have something to do to keep the suicide thoughts out my mind. Because a solo mind is a devil's workshop. Yep. So I had to stay busy, and the podcast kept me busy. But I never intended it for it to grow like it did. And as it continued to grow, people started jumping aboard, jumping on this train of inspiration. Corey Bush, the Married to Shower Jones, Murphy Lee, people from all different walks of faith and trauma that they experience come onto my platforms, because my platform is for the people. It's not about the celebrities. It's about the people in the community. And if you are a celebrity coming on my show, you still got to talk about what you've been through. We're not going to talk about how many records you sold. We're not going to talk about how many cars you got. We're going to talk about how did you get past or get through life when you was faced with adversity. Yeah. Because that's how we need to reach people.
I agree. And I think that's the same with our show. You know, we really want to hear the true story, and having you on, Langford, we really just wanted to hear how Blind City was originated. And I didn't know it went that deep. You know, you had tried 3 times, and 3 times God said no. You know, even that 3rd time, you know, like you're like, all right, this will do it. He'll drive over here, and boom. Yeah, God put that state trooper on there, and it's just crazy. You know, but I can understand that as a man, you want to do everything you're on your own, you know, and when you couldn't do that at that moment, you know, it's just, you know, and then losing the job that you love too, because you couldn't do the same job anymore.
Right.
You know,
right. And that's what really hurt. And, let me say this, Blind City, thepodcast.com. You can go to that, Blind City, THE, thepodcast.com. And when you go to the website, people, when they go, wow, wait a minute. You talking about St. Louis when you say Blind City, because we see the arch. And it's cloudy. Correct. St. Louis, blind city. We still blind to the segregation in our city. We still blind as we separate from each other. We don't work with each other. I'm trying to change that. And thank you for letting me come on to your show, because I want to address some things.
Yeah, absolutely.
The crime in St. Louis is not a black crime. We might have black people killing each other, but it's not a black crime. People kill where they live, especially if you have no resources. Okay, let's get that straight. But all of us have to work together to stop the crime in the inner city. So you just can't say, well, we in West County, it ain't got nothing to do with us. Yes, you do. You go downtown to the Blues game. You go downtown to the Cardinals game. It has a lot to do with you. Because you have to go to the city to see the sports. And you can get robbed down there while you seeing the sports. A couple people have already. So it does affect you. So we all have to work together. Chesterfield, Baldwin, West County, Creve Coeur. It's all our problem. We have to fix it. Has nothing to do with race. It's about humanity. Humanity. That's what we got to get back to. I live in Baldwin now, but I go back to the city when I can to help with a message, to help with turkey giveaways, to connect with people who are trying to make a difference in the community down there. I didn't go to Baldwin and say, oh, I made it now. Right. It's not my problem. No, it's still my problem. Because when the murder rate toll goes up, it don't say black people. It don't say white people. You know what it say? St. Louis murder toll. Now we in the top 3 of homicides. So it's a reflection of us in our city that we got to change it together. What you think, Marissa?
I mean, that's a big part of, you know, why we're doing our bucket list gives that we have coming up this year, is just getting people involved in the community, right? Like just recognizing organizations, people that need help, and pulling people to do that. Simple as that, you know?
And using the power in the platform.
Yeah, when you have the platform and the voice, and people are listening to you, we know it because we've been doing this for 3 years, just doing that for good. And so that's what we're trying to do. Just our little part, our little part, and encouraging everybody else to do their little part. So,
yeah.
And you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
You're doing a great job. But this is why this is a classic episode. Because my demographic and your demographic, to some people, it's a big difference.
Right.
But it's really not, because we're part of humanity. Now, let's face it, Marissa, and I keep going to you because you're a school teacher. Mm-hmm. My mother is a retired school teacher, so I have respect for school teachers. Your job is not easy, okay? But you were made to do it. But let me say this, Jay. communities that have resources and the communities that don't have resources, we got to find a way to get the communities that don't have it to get it.
How do we do that?
That's a good question. But it starts with your podcast and my podcast, what we're doing. We're talking about it. We're creating information and awareness. And it's for other people to listen to what we're saying and saying, hey, you know what? I can come up with an idea. Hey, I got an idea. And it's about us putting our minds together and coming up with things. Yeah. But we got to start the conversation. If we don't start the communication, there's nothing. And that's why podcasts are so important with what you're doing. Mm-hmm. Information and awareness to the people. Mm-hmm. But maybe we can start some conversations in the people that live in Chesterfield, that live in West County in their households. And maybe the people in the inner city who feel like they don't care about us. No, that's not true. That's not true. There's people out there that care about you. We can't get fooled by the media, what we hear on the news. But it's good people everywhere.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So, bringing you on the podcast, we want to hear about, ways that we can get these resources to people, but also ways that we can collaborate with people that are already doing the work. So are there any organizations that you work with right now that are doing the work?
Man, I work with so many because I take on so many issues because of my story. Yeah. From human trafficking. Speaking of human trafficking, we got over 400 girls missing out of Berkeley, Missouri, man. Google it on your phones. Google is powerful. It just depends what you're Googling. Mm-hmm. Sure. But Google information and awareness. But I'm a big advocate for human trafficking. I done teamed up with Girls on the Run over in Richmond Heights. Yep. They're doing a great job in the schools. The Healing Action Network over there off Hampton, they work with human trafficking. I work with Dr. Ajuma, who's a clinical therapist working with young black males. Dr. Stansfield, she works for the Covenant Housing Organization. Mm-hmm. I just teamed up with so many people. I don't want to leave them out, man.
Yeah, right.
But we're creating a conversation. We're working together. I'm working on a major event. Hopefully that'll be coming to Harris Stowe in March and to other universities and community centers and other communities. I want to start getting out there. Hopefully you can join me on some of these platforms.
What are you doing?
Well, I'm starting an organization called Taking Our Community Back. Taking Our Community Back. And it's just about a voice for the people. We are tired of the nonsense. Mm-hmm. We're tired of the crooked politicians stealing from the community. We're tired of the thugs and goons running our city. We're tired of the poor education you keep giving to these kids. Mm-hmm. We want effective teachers, effective education. We want people that really want to work with these kids like you, Marissa. Yeah. You go in every day smiling, saying, I love my job, even when you're tired. Yeah, you just told me, you was tired today. You came in like, hey, baby, you gave him a kiss. You gave your husband a kiss. You say, baby, I'm tired. But you still ready to go in tomorrow. Yeah. Same thing with you, Jay, going in your job, making a change with your social media presence.
Absolutely.
So this is what I'm saying. This is the people that's going to fight to their last breath to try to make a change. I don't care if it's one change. We did the job. But we have to get in the frame of mind. We got to take our community back. Community, not Chesterfield, not West County, not the North Side, but St. Louis. We're all one community.
Absolutely. And that's what, our mission is, it's not like exactly like your mission, but it aligns. It's the people, places, and events that make St. Louis special. How can we bring people to West County to come down to support local artists in St. Louis? They have venues out there, but you still got to go to the Fox. You still got to go to the Muni. You got to go to all these places. And thriving cities is better for everybody. It makes the community, it makes the suburb profit go up too. The better the city is, you look at Chicago, the suburbs around Chicago are very high. The house values are going up through the roof, because people want to live there. So I think it's inspiring. There's a lot that we can do, and there's a lot of untapped potential that we have with art, because we're tapped into a young demographic, 25 to 30. And those are people that are wanting to do community work, but there's not an easy resource of knowing how. A lot of people don't want to have to ask. We just have to give them options like, hey, here's what we're doing. Let's all meet up. Let's go to this event and let's see how we can help.
Yeah, just get involved, get educated. We're really pushing hard on, especially with our demographics last week with voting. Get out and vote. If you don't know who to vote for, here's links, here's resources, here's how you can, pre-make your ballot and bring it with you, just important things, just so people can actually have a voice. And, I feel like that was really important to push, especially because one, that's your right. And it's incredible sometimes how often people will criticize things that like we will promote, especially when it comes to like money or things. And it's like, well, get educated, then like take a stance on something, use, your right to vote and make change. Instead of complaining all the time, do something, use your voice.
And I agree with you. I'm very hard. If you listen to my show, I'm very Marissa waiting for it. I'm very hard on politicians. Yes, I'm very hard. But for the ones that are doing the right thing, I'm very supportive. But like I say, we have a lot of politicians in some of these communities that don't have all the resources. They're stealing from them. And we just saw examples of 3 aldermen who going to jail next month. So this is not no lying what I'm doing. These are facts. This is a blue check. And we got more in the city that's been stealing from these communities. And they have to be held accountable. We cannot be quiet. You cannot be cool with the preacher and still have lunch with the drug dealer. You can't do it. The Bible say don't straddle the fence. You got to take a side for right or you're going to take a side for wrong. I take a side for right.
That's right.
First thing about politics, you work for the people. The people don't work for you. I want politicians to understand that because we got a lot of them up in there for 10, 15 years that haven't done nothing. And they relax. They shouldn't be relaxed in a community that has crime, no resources. It's a lot of work to do. Mm-hmm. So, yes, I really go hard on that because, I live in Baldwin. Peace and quiet. And I'll tell you a story. It was a situation in Baldwin where a young girl was raped in a school. I'm not going to name the school. Do you know them parents went down to that elementary school? They got the janitor locked up and they got the principal fired because it happened on his watch. That's what I'm talking about. We got to hold people accountable in our school districts, in our community, that's not giving these kids what they need to survive and to be successful. We got to call them out. And Marissa, I taught school before. I was an in-school suspension monitor. And you tell me if I'm wrong, Marissa, you can know in the school district sometimes, you can tell the teachers who really go hard and the ones that's there getting the check because the kids will let you know. Because when the kids like you, when you walk in the room, they rush you. Oh, how you doing? They excited to see you. They go into another teacher room, they looking at you. Can you get us up out of here? Yes.
What keeps you motivated? Because you work so much in the community, but you don't have to. Nobody's telling you to. What keeps you motivated?
Man, to make a difference, man. That's it. I got a 5-year-old daughter, bro. I had God gave me the vision to see her come into the world. And it's something about them girls, man. I got an older son. I love him to death. Don't get me wrong, but it's something about them daughters, man. And my daughter, she don't care if I'm blind, man. She say, we gonna play hide and seek, daddy. I be like, yo, daddy already hiding. Daddy, chase me, daddy. I'm chasing. I'm falling over the table. She don't care. Get up, daddy. Baby, I'm blind. So what, daddy? She just want her daddy. She don't care about me being blind. She want her daddy like everybody else got their daddy. So that inspires me to get out here, try to make a difference, try to reach out and touch people and collaborate with people to help make this change. So that's why this platform is so critical, and we're making history today. This is history today.
Yes, sir. So, with it being the STL Bucket List show, a lot of things that we like to talk about, to kind of lighten the mood a little bit, is STL Bucket List. A bucket list is things that people want to do in St. Louis. So tell us about, a few of the places that you like to go to, like maybe some of the restaurants.
This is my favorite segment of y'all's show. This is the restaurants, right?
Yeah. Tell me about your favorite restaurants. Places. Like, where are you taking people? Or where's that special night, where you go?
Man, I ain't heard everybody else on y'all's show. But y'all finna go to the hood with me. We finna go to the hood. You hear me? Marissa, we finna go to the hood. Marissa, you hear me? Marissa's laughing. Look.
Let's get it. Where are we going? Where are we going?
Give us the Rex.
Well, I'm gonna go to one. We're gonna start over there by the Fox Theater, man. Best steakhouse, man.
I was just there yesterday.
Are you-
I was at the Fox, but
Okay,
I saw it.
It's good there.
No,
we always see it. We always see it.
We always see it, and I
Okay.
always look, and I'm like, I wonder how good that place is.
Oh,
okay.
Man. Yeah, man. You need to try it. Go
Okay.
over there one day. Yeah. They got
right.
some nice steaks. I like the best steakhouse. And they
The
cook it in
best
front of
steakhouse.
you, too. Yeah.
Oh, do
Yeah.
they?
Yes. Number 2, got to go with Emos, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's the favorite.
What's your favorite pizza from Emos? Like if you're
just regular Italian sausage and cheese.
Okay.
Right there off Hampton, where Channel 2 News used to be.
Right where
It's
we
a
live.
Benz dealership, but that's the classic one right
That's where
there.
we live at,
That's
right
where
over
we
there.
live.
Oh, y'all in the hill?
Yeah. Well, like right off
Okay,
Hampton. Yeah.
good neighborhood. Yeah. I like
A
the
little
hill.
further down,
Hill
yeah.
got some nice restaurants over there, but I love that's the old school
Yeah.
Emos right
Yeah,
there.
they got the
Yeah.
classic sign.
There you go.
Yup.
I remember that when I was seeing. I used to go there.
Okay.
Oh man. Now I'm finna switch it up a little bit. You got to hit the fried rice places in the hood, man.
That's right.
From the south side, north side, you can't go wrong.
Totally.
Fried rice and get extra shrimp. Always get, because you don't get extra shrimp, they're going to cheat you.
That's
They're
what
going
I
to put
get.
about 4 shrimps in
I
it.
get
gets the shrimp fried rice.
shrimp fried rice. That's my go-to.
that's the dirty
but
rice.
I get no. But I get no veggies. I don't want. I just
Okay.
want rice and shrimp. Like
Right.
I don't want onions. I don't want. I just.
That's the
and
dirty
then
rice. That's the black rice.
Cayenne
Right.
pepper, soy sauce. Yep.
There you go.
My
There you
dad's
go.
favorite was is Peking's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's in North County.
Yeah.
That's right.
But yeah. And no offense to Baldwin, man. Y'all rice joints. I mean, it's a little cuisine, but I like the ones in the hood, man. And also, I gotta go. Well, Jay, I know you're married, man. Marissa, I'm sorry. I gotta go to Hooters, man. Hooters, I love them.
wings?
Oh, lemon pepper
Okay.
with the crab legs
Okay.
and the garden salad. Oh, you can't beat that.
Yeah. What
then
about
it-
Wingstop? Wingstop's got some good wings.
Yeah, Wingstop, I got.
good lemon
It was
pepper
good, but
wings.
it kind of, the grease got to me.
So you just went to Hooters
Yeah.
just for the wings, nothing else.
Well, no, excuse me, Marissa, I'm single. I go see what's happening in Hooters. I can't see. I can feel their hand, their wrist like Ray Charles. That's what I do, Marissa. I feel their wrist like Ray
I
Charles.
actually was gonna shake your hand when I got here.
Right.
Just no.
No, I would have grabbed your wrist.
Yeah.
But I would have took it off real quick because your husband sitting right there. He'd have been like, oh, no, blind, you being slick. I saw that movie. I saw that. Don't do
You
that
got
with my
jewelry.
wife.
You got jewelry on, man.
Oh,
Come on,
yeah.
man.
Oh, blind. You got to stay fresh if you're blind, man. Yeah, I don't walk with a cane or a dog.
feel
But
good.
I am better looking than Stevie Wonder and Ray Charles.
Stevie Wonder.
Oh my gosh.
I've heard you say that before, I think.
Yeah, you can start the show off like that.
Stevie Wonder.
Yeah. But no, man, this is a great day. But no, St. Louis have a lot of great food. We can go all day, but those are the ones I like, and I'm getting more into my more veggies. I'm getting in more fruit, blueberries. I eat a lot of blueberries. A lot of stuff to, I'm getting older now, so I got to play for the long run now.
Yeah.
So I got to watch what I eat very carefully.
Absolutely. Can't be, that fried rice and
Oh,
wings.
no.
How
and stuff.
boring.
You have a heart attack like Sanford, Fred Sanford. Shout out to Red Fox, man. Y'all need to fix his street up on the north side too, man. Kind of raggedy, man. Y'all need to fix Red Fox
Red
Street
Fox
up.
Road?
Yeah, his street, man. Look ridiculous. And Martin Luther King. Fix that street up, man. Street don't look nothing like his character.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me, Marissa.
No, but you're right though. Like those streets, like you go to Martin Luther King Drive in different states, and it's
Yeah.
it's a memorial street. There's a lot of more
Right.
stuff going on.
Right.
And
Yeah.
in North City, it
Should
looks like there's a
represent the
lot.
value that it's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of stuff going on in North City, and it looks like some big businesses are moving over there. So hopefully we're going to start seeing a shift, and another stadium's getting built over in Midtown by Slough. So there's stadiums with the soccer team. So
Right.
we're here for the development, but we're here for the long run, and we're going to keep supporting St. Louis. And
Wow.
you having you on is crazy. I wanted to ask you kind of a personal question.
Don't me ask me anything.
So being blind, so you're blind now,
Right.
and how long have you has it been?
4 years.
4 years. Correct.
4 years.
Right.
So it could just be a question just so people can kind of understand. So like you could see and now you're blind. So do you remember like the colors and all that?
Everything.
Like crazy?
That's
like,
what helps me. That's why I got the advantage.
Okay.
Yeah. I can think. I know what colors are. When I listen to the football games, I know what the Oakland Raiders helmet look like. Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
Colors. When my daughter comes over, tell daddy what kind of shoes you got on. I got on green shoes, daddy. You know, and got on a black skirt, daddy. You know, so people talk to me so I can picture in my mind.
Right.
But there is hope. Elon Musk has he's helping blind people to see. He's came up with a chip. You can Google this on your phones. Elon Musk chip in the brain. It helps create vision, but you only can see black and white. You won't have color. But hey, who cares? If I can see a face again, let's do it. They're in the trial runs of it. They're looking maybe in 3-4 years getting approved by the FDA. And you have other companies that are doing something similar to what he's doing. So the technology is moving. Yeah. Yes. So
are your other senses heightened now?
Yes.
Is that true? Like that's okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what the girls tell me. But no, I can hear very well. Other things. I can listen, hearing things. I react faster. You just notice the little things that come with it. That's all.
Sure.
Well, I didn't pay attention before when I had sight, but once you lose a limb or a sight, you start noticing the difference in your body on how things start moving, things you pay attention to, and it just show you how great God is with the human body. It's magnificent for real. Yeah.
And I noticed that like you're critical listening because of you've mentioned like different podcast episodes we have, and you remember scenes talking about these people and like recalling it to us like, hey, I remember when you talked about this on this podcast, and
I can remember like everything. People say when I talk, you remember like, I can go back. Yes.
Yeah, that's inspiring. So we're going to leave it off with one message. If you just want to, tell people why St. Louis means so much to you, and just give us like a little outlook of what your vision is for the next, few years and what things that you want to bring.
Well, my vision is help other people get their vision, man. Like I said, we got to take our community back. We got to work as one, as a family. We got to quit being segregated, man. I know our city is segregated with a lot of lines throughout our community, but we the ones that can erase those lines and start helping people. Let's just start help people. I don't care if you got to donate to the Juvenile Detention Center, donate to your church, go to Red Cross, Salvation Army. Everybody can play their part. I'm not expecting people to go in juvenile detention like I did and go into the prisons. No, but you can do other things. You can bake cookies. You can sell them to an organization. Take some milk and cookies down to the homeless people. Just find whatever you can do to chip in to help a community that doesn't have as many resources as your community. That's what I ask people. That's what I'm working on. And let me shout out to Larry and Chris Rice, man. They are doing so much for the city, man. And like I said, I'm big on people. Action speaks louder than words. And I know we have a lot of churches out here. And they can be doing so much more. And I tell the churches, stop keeping people in the building and start building people up in the community. That's real talk. Jesus did work in the streets, not in the church. And we just got to get out in the community and take it back and help in any way possible. So that's my vision. That's what I'm doing to get out here to keep inspiring people, even blind people, because what they do with handicapped people, and let me say this, I have to speak on this, and I have to become more of an advocate for this. When you're handicapped, they tell you to stay away. Stay away. Get out the way. You're handicapped. Take your little check a month. Stay over here with the other handicapped people. No, that's BS. You get out there back in society and get your foot in the race. And if you don't have a foot, use the other foot. If you don't have no feet, use your crutches. I'm blind and I'm out here still doing it. Use whatever advantage that can get you back out here in the race to help create change in your community. You don't have to be on the island with other handicapped people. You can be out there back with society and get your life back. And I'm talking to the amputees. I'm talking to the blind, visually impaired. I'm talking to people, my survival of cancer and breast cancer. Take your community back. We need your help as well. Matter of fact, your help is more important because you done been through some adversity and you really can get out here and empower people. I'm gonna leave it at that. That's all I have to say. And like I say, I'm Langford Cunningham, and I had to lose my sight to find my vision.
And that's a wrap, guys. Thank you again for listening in to another episode of the STL Bucket List Show. Had a special, historic episode today on the show. We had Mr. C in the building giving us some knowledge. You guys check out his podcast. We're going to drop the links on social for you guys to check that out. And then also the link to the website. And if you guys just want to get involved, I'm sure you're going to keep people up to date on your events and ways that they can help.
And let me say this. Any people that want to reach out to me, you can. 636-825-9647 or go to blindcitystl@gmail. And you can go to blindcitythepodcast.com.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much. Another episode here at Half Coast Studios. Guys, it's going to be on Spotify.
Oh, wait a minute.
YouTube.
Wait a minute.
Go ahead.
I forgot. Man, you guys got me going. I'm over here sweating. I'm excited like I've been on a roller coaster.
Well, you're thinking about wings. I heard you were going to Hooters after this.
Trying to get something started. Look at you. Yeah. Check us out on ABC, Sunday nights after midnight. ABC Network, Sunday nights after midnight. Check out Blind City, the podcast. That's 1 a.m. the next morning, but I say Sunday nights after midnight. People can tune in, and if you fall asleep, you better stay woke in these streets. Record it with your DVR. BlindCityPodcast.com.
Well, hey, guys, that's it. Shout out Blind City Podcast. Guys, check it out on ABC. Doing so much for the city. Again, another fire episode here at Half Coast Studios. Matt, thank you in the back for the ones and twos, cutting up a perfect episode. And then, guys, Regional Arts Commission of St. Louis. We got some big things brewing for next year. We're going to be supporting local artists and art organizations all year long because we want you to come from West County and Baldwin. Come down and explore some local art.